Good morning. Let's talk today about fish and wildlife violations in Washington State. A lot of times we get calls from people, they're cited for unlawful hunting big game, they're cited for failure to notch tag. A lot of times people like that, they don't have prior criminal history, they don't have a really good understanding of the criminal justice system. So let's talk a little bit about what you can expect and how you might be able to get through this, how we might be able to possibly help you. A criminal charge for fish and wildlife violation can start one of two ways. It could start with a ticket like this given to you by the game agent, or you might receive a complaint typed out by the prosecutor and you get that in the mail a few weeks or a few months later. Either way, the process starts the same way. You go to your court date, and the first date, of course, is always your arraignment. Now, when you go to the arraignment, a lot of times the natural response for a person will be to just think, well, let's go in and plead guilty and then explain the circumstances to the court. But that's usually not a great idea. You could end up with a 2-year suspension of your hunting privileges. You can end up with a big fine, a civil penalty, and also with a criminal record. If you plead guilty, the only thing left for the judge to do is to sentence you. And the best case scenario then would be a deferred sentence. But there you'd still end up with a suspension and a criminal record. Game violations in this state, they're usually misdemeanors or gross misdemeanors, meaning they're punishable by up to a year in jail. A lot of times the jail isn't the real problem, it's not the real threat if someone has no priors. Usually someone's trying to avoid having a license suspension. They're trying to avoid having a criminal record. They're trying to avoid a large civil penalty. And a lot of times they call us to see how we might be able to help to protect somebody in the court system. And protecting somebody on a fish and wildlife case in the court system oftentimes means resolving the matter with like a stipulation for continuance, meaning that the case is continued for 12 months and dismissed at the end of the 12 months if you stay out of trouble. That is a way to successfully avoid a license suspension and a criminal record and a civil penalty. However, prosecutors and the game agents really don't like to resolve cases like this. So sometimes protecting someone in the court of law means simply taking the case to trial. Let's next talk about the subject of civil forfeitures that the game department might do. A lot of times when people are cited for unlawful hunting big game or what have you, they'll also have some property taken, maybe a firearm or maybe a pickup truck, for example. And they'll usually give you a piece of paper like this that kind of explains why the item was taken. If it's taken for forfeiture, that's something you'll want to get on right away and contest that. If it's taken for evidence, that means they're going to hold it for the time being until the case is resolved. So you want to take a close look at that. Also, sometimes the forfeiture notice will come in the mail, like this example here, and they'll tell you that your property is being seized and that they intend to keep it. If you're facing a civil forfeiture, you'll need to file a request within 45 days. At our office, we've done a lot of hearings to contest those forfeitures. We've fought cases like that all the way from the local courts all the way to our state Supreme Court. The main thing is you want to contact an attorney right away to see what he or she can do to help you to get your property back if that's what's been taken from you. The interaction that the game department has with the local prosecuting attorney is a little bit different than what you would expect with, for example, the state patrol or the city police. The game department kind of uses a little bit of a carrot and stick method with the local prosecutors, meaning that if the local prosecutor does a real good job, then they will go ahead and kind of give an award or something like that. But if they're disappointed with the local prosecutor, if the game department has some sort of criticisms of the way that the prosecutor has handled the case, historically they have been really vocal about that with the local news media, criticizing that the job that the prosecutor has done or the way the case has been resolved. So if you want to talk about your case, go ahead and give us a call. We'd like to hear about how we might be able to help you on the charges that you're facing. We're usually available within an hour or so. We're oftentimes available on the weekends and the evening, so give us a call.